You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we're coming to you. Like we always said, we're going to start you on your way to a beautiful day. We're going to hit the topic today. We've got Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, and Josh McDaniels. They are seemingly a dysfunctional family, and we're going to put something to it and see if we can figure out what is actually going on, because this is a mystery to me. You know how I feel about the Patriot Way. The Patriot Way only belongs in one building, and that's the Patriots building. And that's where the success comes from. We're talking about an organization when Robert Kraft took over ownership in 1994. And when Robert Kraft came in, he revitalized everything that was around that organization. And what I mean is that the sales and marketing of the New England Patriots, that was Robert Kraft. Building a stadium that was going to be inclusive of all families that could come and enjoy the NFL game in their stadium, that was Robert Kraft. Jersey sales, marketing, putting things where they need to be, that was Robert Kraft. The hiring of Bill Belichick, that was Robert Kraft. Okay, so you got to know that you're working for an owner. Very intelligent, very astute businessman. And he understands when life has run its course. And as I look at Robert Kraft today, and I look at Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick by far, folks, don't even get me started. Best coach to ever coach in the NFL. I'll never call Tom Brady the GOAT as long as he had Bill Belichick designing the defense, because he won 9 Super Bowls. So let's be honest, let's not kid ourselves. Bill Belichick, in fact, he coached up Tom Brady. Tom Brady would have never, ever have been Tom Brady today if it wasn't for the mind of Bill Belichick. And he's got an astute understanding of the game. He's more like Bill Walsh when it comes to players. And he hit a speed bump because the 49ers, as you know, went ahead and let Joe Montana go to Kansas City. He was ready for Jimmy Garoppolo to step in. He was ready to say, hey, now's the time. He still has a few years left. Let's go ahead and move on. Robert Kraft didn't want to do that. And when the owner doesn't want to do something of an NFL team, that's just the way it works. And so what ended up happening out of that situation is Tom Brady left. And this is where the dysfunction starts coming in. And then he's got the other prodigal son, Josh McDaniels, which Josh McDaniels is a hell of a football coach, as long as Josh McDaniels is in the Patriots building. If Josh McDaniels is outside of the Patriots building, he doesn't have a chance. He's got a better chance of swimming the Delta than he has going to another organization and winning football games. Because when Antonio Pierce stood up and said, we're going to make our own identity, we're not the Patriots, we're going to do it our way, Josh McDaniels went right back to him. Right back to Antonio Pierce and said, don't you ever speak about the Patriots that way. So that tells me his heart is in the Patriots building. Now, when you look at these collectively, and again, the Tom Brady situation, I have no idea what he's doing in Oakland. Tom Brady should be up in New England, sitting up in the booth, sitting with Mr. Kraft, and really the hard work and dedication and the history of the NFL, folks. When I talk about the history, you know, it would be almost like Jerry Rice going over to San Diego Chargers and being a part of their organization. Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, they're a part of the 49ers organization, and I stand by loyalty in the NFL. Now, I understand if you go coach somewhere or you do something a little bit different. I get that piece of it. There's no doubt about it. But if you're joining an organization in Oakland, Tom Brady, there is no reason for you to be there when your organization is the New England Patriots. Josh McDaniels sitting on the shelf right now, okay? And here's a solution, folks. I can tell you about a problem, and as you know, Money Mike, as I let you into my life, this is how my life works on a daily basis. So when you got challenges, I'll give you a solution. Here's the best solution that could really bring the Patriots and move them from being a dysfunctional family to being a somewhat, because they may not get all the way back there, a functional family. And what I mean by that is Josh McDaniels, let's get him back in the Patriot building. And Bill Belichick, in all honesty, the deal with Belichick is this. Okay? This is the hang up, folks. This is what's holding everything up. Bill Belichick is about to become the all-time winningest coach in the history of the NFL. So when you're looking at that, he's going to pass Don Shula. Okay, there's only a few games left, maybe a season of the game, maybe a little less, okay? But when you have a situation like that, now Robert Kraft, who's a businessman, do I want Belichick to go to another organization and break the all-time record? No. Okay, so we got to be patient with the Patriots. We got to pump our brakes because they've got some things they've got to figure out. And the solution Money Mike is bringing to the table, the Patriots need to bring in Josh McDaniels, bring him on back in, assign Josh McDaniels as the head coach of the New England Patriots when Bill Belichick steps down. Now, of course, go through all the interviews. We understand that. But we also understand this too, Mr. Kraft, is you got an organization that's worth billions of dollars. And one thing Money Mike here always tell you on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast is we don't touch a person that buys something and turns it into billions. They have a right to do what they want to do with that organization. So I get it, and they've got a fan base. But here's where I'm at with that. You bring Josh McDaniels back. You sit him on the shelf. Make him a consultant. After that, let Bill Belichick go ahead and break Shula's record. And then after you break Shula's record, Bill, go on up and be the GM for the organization. Okay? And here's the other thing. You and Tom Brady, I mean, honestly, Tom loves you. You love Tom. There's no doubt about it. There's folks, and I'll tell you something about football. You can't be in an organization, you can't be under a coach for that amount of time, and there's not a certain aspect of love and caring that gets involved. Because you're involved with the families, you're involved with the children. So Tom grew up, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's what sons do. My son had to grow up eventually, and they're going to buck the system. And that's what you want him to do. However, with Tom Brady not in the building, we got to have Tom back in New England. I just can't see it any other way. I think Josh McDaniels should be the next head coach. I think he's got the qualities and tools to do it. I think he can do it, but he can only do it in one place. That's New England. He can't do it anywhere else. He couldn't do it in Denver. He couldn't do it in Oakland. But if you put him back in the Patriots building and you let him design and work the Patriot way, because that Patriot way is all business. And folks, let me tell you, I could play for Belichick because you know what? I know one thing is when I show up, I'm working. And all the time I'm there, I'm working, I'm sharp, I'm progressing. And then when I leave the building, it's my time. And then when I get outside of the building, I better take care of myself even better because he's going to make it harder and harder and harder. That's football. That's what you play the game for, okay? But he's a defensive coach. And he ain't going to never understand Tom Brady on the offense. He's not. He don't meddle in it. He stayed in his area the entire time. He might have teased Tom a couple times in the film room, pissed him off. But, you know, Belichick's never going to come over and get into somebody else's Kool-Aid. Okay? He lets them do, whether it's Josh McDaniel, Bill O'Brien, he let them do their thing. Okay? They were good at what they were doing, and Tom kind of progressed, and then Tom became who Tom Brady is. So, but we need Tom back in New England. That's where he belongs. Robert Kraft, outstanding job as far as leading that organization because the Patriots organization is second to none other. And like I say, Bill Belichick, I mean, he's up there in the top 5 coaches all time to ever coach this game. And that's what the NFL is about, history. So we have to look at what he did for his brilliance. He won a couple Super Bowls in New York, coached the greatest defensive player ever in Lawrence Taylor. So Belichick can coach, but this is the deal. After you do this for so long, this reminds me of Tom Landry. You've done it for a long time. And eventually, you're going to have to say, hey, you know what? We can just move on, move up in the office, okay? You know, Tom Brady, that's legendary. You know, I mean, he's played the biggest role in all the Patriots' success. Exceptional talent, great leader. Work ethic made him the top dog in the league because he worked his tail off. And him and Belichick formed one of the most successful coach and quarterback duels, okay? But as we know, what happens, everybody can have a beer one night or say something, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, it happens. But, you know, we got to bring it back together because I believe when you start together, you just finish together. And when you do that, you know, you got to be right there. Lastly, you got Josh McDaniels. offensive coordinator for the Patriots, long-time history, been an integral part of the team's success, very innovative, play calling ability, does all the right things in the Patriots building. And that's why I'm pushing for them to get him back in there, let him go ahead and be the coach, let him do what he's got to do, that we can go ahead and get the Patriots back in there and get their success back. Because this dysfunctional family that the New England Patriots are today is not winning for anyone. And in the NFL, we want you to win. The NFL wants the fans to win. The NFL wants the players to win. And most definitely, the NFL wants the coaches to win. But in this situation here, the greatest organization, the greatest dynasty ever built fell apart and became dysfunctional. So my solution is Josh McDaniel. Let's get you refunctional. Let's get Josh McDaniels in there, put him on the shelf, name him as the next head coach. Let's get that over with. Let's get Tom Brady back in there and be doing whatever Tom wants to do, because Tom is the Patriots. Bill Belichick, you go on up and sit in the desk, drink some coffee. We don't mind you coming to the scouting and buying. We know you want to pick all your groceries. So go ahead and pick Josh groceries for him. He won't have a problem with that. So we're going to get it in. It's been a blast, folks. But I'll tell you this. Here on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, we'll be bringing it to you. And we're going to keep getting better and better to allow you to go higher and higher as we continue to understand all things are possible to those who believe.